I don't think that there's such a thing as a soulmate. Wait, I know, hear me out. I do not think that there is one person that God has assigned to you who you must be with, and if you miss out on them, then you've missed out on God's perfect will for your life. Actually, I think believing that might become dangerous. Yes, because when you believe that somebody is your soulmate, it can make you want to ignore glaring red flags simply because you're trying to protect the idea that this is God's will for you. Now, please, I want to make this clear. I'm also not promoting the other extreme that people should jump from relationship to relationship, finding somebody better. No, I'm saying that if you believe there's one person out there for you, it might make you subtly idolize marriage, right? It can make marriage the ultimate goal for you instead of Christ, right? I actually have a video where I talked about how we might have been idolizing marriage, and I think you should check it out. I will link it at the end of this video so that it just puts the whole conversation into perspective for you. But for now, we're going to be trying to answer the question, has Christian dating become more cultural than biblical? Before we get into the conversation, hello, my name is Choma, and this is the Ecclesia. The Ecclesia is a gathering of people who are open to God and curious about faith. If you found this video, then you've been called. Yeah, consider subscribing and watch this video to the end so you determine if you actually like it. And if you do like it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Because this is a thinking gathering, I need to know what you think. So let me know what you think in the comments, okay? One passage that really challenged my thinking is found in Numbers chapter 36. To give you some context, God had allowed Zelophehad's daughters to inherit their father's land. This was something that was already countercultural because then women didn't receive inheritance, right? But another concern came up. The leaders asked, what then happens if these women get married to men from other tribes? Won't the land permanently leave our tribe? And God's response to that is what we're going to be basing these thoughts and conversations in this video. Let's go to Numbers chapter 36 verse 6. This is the NLT version, Numbers chapter 36, verse 6. This is what the Lord commands concerning the daughters of Zelophehad. Let them marry anyone they like, as long as it is within their own ancestral tribe. There are actually two important truths in this verse. The second one, which it says, as long as it's within their own ancestral tribe. Right? I think it deserves its own video because I think it points us to why Christians must marry only fellow believers. But that will be another video, so watch out for that video. For today, we're going to be focusing on let them marry whomever they like. Whomever. I think that already challenges the soulmate narrative. God didn't say, wait, Zelophehad's daughters, till I show you the one. No, he gave them the freedom to choose whomever they like within the boundaries he had established. And when you read the rest of the scripture, you begin to notice a pattern that God rarely chooses a spouse for anyone. He gives wisdom, he gives principles, he gives boundaries, but the choice itself belongs to the individual. As my pastor would say, God doesn't choose for you, you choose with God. Take Hosea for an example. God commanded Hosea to marry a prostitute in Hosea chapter 1 verse 2. God didn't say who. And I want to believe Gomer wasn't the only prostitute in Hosea's town. Hosea chose Gomer. Another example, Adam and Eve. God brought Eve to Adam. And when he did that, he didn't say, Adam, yo, what's good? Here's your wife. No. Adam, by himself, saw her and declared, now this is the bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And then the scripture continued, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife. Adam did the declaring. Adam recognized, Adam received, and Adam chose. Now, here's a question. Where did we get this idea of walking up to other people and telling them, God said you're my wife, or God said you're my husband? Where? Because I'm going to say I don't see this pattern in the scripture, right? Can God lead us? Absolutely. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6 says, trust the Lord and acknowledge him in all your ways. James chapter 1 verse 5 tells us, if we lack wisdom, we should ask God who gives liberally. So yes, God leads his people, but leading is different from expecting God to make every rational decision for you while you remain passive. It don't work like that. No, it don't work like that. Because if God chooses a wife for you, and you're not used to pound pepper in your house before, but you're in a marriage and your wife is saying, babe, help me pound pepper, God will not come down and pound the pepper for you. Like, you get what I'm saying? Here's what I think. You cannot solely build a marriage on that sentence, God told me to marry you. Because marriage requires work that God will not do for you. God will not communicate for you. God will not apologize for you. God will not forgive your spouse for you. God will not force you to love sacrificially. These are all responsibilities he commands you to carry. The scripture tells us, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. This is Ephesians 5:21. It tells husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. Ephesians 5:25. It now calls all believers to bear with one another, forgiving each other. This is Colossians 3:13. These commands all require intentional effort. So even if you're certain that God told you to marry this person, if neither of you is willing to obey God's command within marriage, the marriage will still struggle. And this is not even a prophecy of doom. It will still struggle, right? Because God's leading will never replace human responsibility. So, here's where I land. I don't think the scripture teaches that there is a soulmate somewhere on earth that you have to find. No, I think God gives us wisdom. He gives us boundaries. He gives us his spirit. And within those boundaries, he gives us freedom and responsibility to choose wisely, right? In other words, marry whomever you like, as long as it is within the tribe. Okay? So please choose someone you genuinely admire. Sorry. Choose someone whose character reflects Christ. And choose someone you're willing to serve, to love, to forgive, to grow with, to build a life alongside. Because honestly, after the wedding day, your marriage will not thrive solely because God told you. It will thrive when both of you continually choose each other in obedience to Christ. Okay, that's the end of the video for today. If you watched till this point, I'm telling you, you like the video. You do like the video. So don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and this is a good place to consider subscribing. Because this is a thinking gathering, I want to know what you think. So let me know what you think in the comments, okay? Yeah, and don't forget, look out for the next video, which will be trying to answer the question why Christians should marry only fellow believers, right? Till I come your way next time, you may go and grow.